Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Brawner Jr. has mobilized the Northern Luzon Command for China's possible invasion of Taiwan. Brawner says the Philippines will become inevitably involved due to the 250,000 Filipinos working there. Let's get on point with AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel, Margareth Padilla. Colonel Padilla, good to have you again. Welcome to the Billionaire News Channel. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Good evening, Ma'am Pinky, and I'm glad to be back here on Billionaire News.
Happy to have you. So AFP Chief Brawner telling the NOLCOM, or the Northern Luzon Command, to, and I quote, start planning for actions in case there is a Chinese invasion, and of quote, obviously, of Taiwan. Is this a new directive, Colonel?
No, ma'am, no. This is not a novel issue, actually. Planning was already done way before. But of course, we are facing contemporary modern challenges. So, tinitingnan natin dyan, ma'am, whatever the new challenges that we see at bay, we have to also adjust accordingly with our plans. But this, I want to put into context no, how this was said by our Chief of Staff. So, this was the anniversary of NOLCOM. And of course, it's a given that their joint area of operations is with their Northern Luzon area. So, it's the proximity to the area that's the context behind it. So with all that said, of course, the directive to our troops would be how we'd be preparing accordingly for any eventuality within the joint area of operations.
Within that parang sphere, no, that area of responsibility or command responsibility, which obviously, ano ho ba ang base ng what is covered by the Northern Luzon Command or NOLCOM? You have Central Luzon?
Yes, ma'am.
Going up?
Going
okay,
up,
what are the other
yes,
areas?
We have two divisions in the Army, ma'am. So these are the ones that are major. We have the 5th Infantry Division based in Upigamu in Isabela. And we have the 7th Infantry Division based in Fort Magsaysay in Nueva Ecija. So these two divisions also have their own area of operations, transcending to the Northern Luzon area. So nandiyan na din po yung car, may hatian sila dyan, ma'am, doon sa gitna. Over and above that, NOLCOM is the umbrella unit of these two divisions, and NOLCOM po has AFP siya. Ano siya, ma'am, joint unified command siya. So the Air Force and the Army contingents, the Navy contingents are under NOLCOM din doon. So may mga Navy rin po tayo that are deployed all over. We have Marines also in the area po.
Hindi lang siya Army, kumbaga, itong Northern Luzon Command.
Yes, ma'am. And we have air bases there.
Yeah. So you have Army, you have Navy, and you have Air Force. And then you were saying that we have two infantry divisions there, the 7th ID and the 5th ID, the 5th being in Isabela and the 7th being in Fort Magsaysay in Nueva Ecija. Yun po yun. So you were saying that you need to add some context to this kasi it was the anniversary. So parang ang sinasabi niyo po, General Brawner had stressed the importance of possibly preparing dahil kapag may mangyari po doon sa Taiwan, ito po ang magmobilize ang Northern Luzon Command.
Northern Luzon Command.
So it's not new, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Matagal na rin pong nasasabi na kailangan maghanda sa sakaling sakupin ang Taiwan.
Ito po kasi, ma'am, nandyan na hindi natin matanggal, no? Meron tayong OFWs doon. So these are numbering into 250,000, nabanggit nga po kanina. So we have to look at contingency measures for any eventuality. So this is not just for defense, but also for humanitarian assistance and disaster response. So katulad po nung nangyari dito sa Myanmar, nagpadala po tayo ng C-130 aircraft doon. Andyan din po yung AFP to join the different parts of the contingent like the DOH, the OCD. So in any case, in any different scenarios, how the AFP will play any role in different scenarios, yun po yung reminder.
Must be ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it have anything to do also, I understand what you're saying, that General Brawner was obviously talking to members of the North Luzon Command, which would be spearheading any possible, preparations or even rescue in the event something happens in Taiwan. Pero meron ho ba din yang naging importante ho ba siya dahil nagkaroon din ng increased activity around Taiwan by China?
Lahat naman to, ma'am, tinitingnan lahat natin. Hindi lang din po dyan, dalawa kasi itong sa West Philippine Sea, ma'am, no? Ang involved dyan is NOLCOM and WESTCOM. So, ito po, tinitingnan natin how NOLCOM will also fall into play in this, no? So may hatian din kasi between NOLCOM and WESTCOM accordingly.
Yeah.
So yun, this was all a reminder, and dito nga, ma'am, sabi nga natin, in any eventuality, ang ine-emphasize natin dito is yung NEO, ma'am, no? Yung non-combatant evacuation operations. So this is also something that we really have to consider.
But would you say, Colonel, that our troops have been preparing and are ready in the event of an invasion of Taiwan?
In any eventuality, ma'am. So we have to have contingency plans in place for anything that would transpire. So notwithstanding, ito lang isang event na ito, but any type of event, of course, lahat yan titignan natin.
But with General Brawner underscoring the need to prepare, would you say that there is more preparation now, or meron ho ba silang ginagawang mas matinding paghahanda dahil inutos na po ni AFP Chief?
Ang tinitingnan natin dito, ma'am, nabanggit din ni General Brawner about itong mga malign influence and the cyber effects to it and political effects to it. So, ang tinitingnan natin dito, ma'am, as we transition from internal security operations to territorial defense, yan na po kasi ngayon eh. So, in Northern Luzon po, naubos na yan. No? Yung from 7 weekend guerrilla fronts, we now have 1 that we're waiting na ma-dismantle na po. So, because of this transition, we're now looking into also adjusting our organization accordingly. So we have created the Cyber Command, and we also have created the Intelligence Command. So how this everything falls into play, kung makikita nyo, ma'am, there are also a lot of challenges in the cyber domain now. So ito po gives a reminder to the troops not to be focused on ISO. Na yan kasi for the longest time, yan na naging focus po na. So ngayon, we want to transition their mindset na we're really gearing towards TDO. So territorial defense operations.
But let's give an example, Colonel, that we need to rescue thousands of Filipinos in Taiwan. The numbers vary. It's from 150,000 to 250,000 Filipinos over there. Where would be the point that our troops will, sabihin po natin, take off from para po sagipin or kunin yung mga kababayan natin sa Taiwan? Will the EDCA sites be used?
This is also a possibility, ma'am. Siyempre, gagamitin natin lahat ng resources sa dami po niyan, no? If this occurs, it will be a whole of government approach. It's not just the AFP is gonna be playing a role in this. So, titingnan natin yan, yung diplomatic implications nito, ma'am. So, we'll take the cue also from the DFA on this. We'll also take cues from the Bureau of Immigration. We'll also take cues from, of course, OCD, kung Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Response Month. So, in all of this, ma'am, it's a team effort, so
Understandably. But where is the staging point? Saan ho kaya yung pagmumulan ng paggamit ng eroplano o paggamit ng barko para po pumunta sa Taiwan?
These are all operational details, ma'am, that we cannot disclose, no. But of course, the proximity will give us options that we can use for this. But pag sa ganitong scenario, ma'am, this will be an all hands on deck na po ito, as the need may be.
Siguro it's just good to look into the EDCA sites that are available dahil nadagdagan po ng 4, hindi ho ba, from the original 5. So if we look at the EDCA sites up north, there would be Fort Magsaysay, you mentioned a while ago, in Nueva Ecija. Andyan din po ang
Lalo, Cagayan.
Lalo Airport in Lalo, Cagayan. And then meron pong Camp Melchor de la Cruz sa Isabela. At meron din pong Naval Base, Camilo Ocias, tama
Yes,
ba?
ma'am.
In Santa Ana, Cagayan.
Santa Ana, Cagayan.
Those are areas, I'm assuming, Colonel, please correct me if I'm wrong, where a lot of the assets could be positioned.
These are possible staging points. Ang EDCA sites natin, ma'am, are inside military bases din po. And EDCA sites are multi-role facilities. So, pwede po siyang fisherman shelters, pwede siyang evacuation sites, pwede siyang command and control centers pagka may ganyan ma'am, pagka fusion na po ng efforts from different countries coming here. So magiging command and control hub din po siya. So marami po siyang pwedeng paggamitan. In HADR operations, nagamit na natin yan nitong huling bagyo. Ginamit po siya as staging areas for repacking of goods. And,
Which was used for repacking of goods?
Fort Magsaysay po ma'am. Yes ma'am.
What would be, I know you were saying that there are a lot of operational procedures here and strategy that cannot be told, no? But obviously there will be a command center in one of those EDCA sites. Ganun ho ba yun?
Eto ma'am, NOLCOM na po ang ano dito, who will be calling the shots in their area of operations. And of course, this will all be naka-channel ito sa ating AFP Command and Control Center din.
All right. U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth recently visited the country, and there's supposed to be operational forces training in Bataan between U.S. Special Operation Forces and the Philippine Marines. Can you just give us more information about this? When will this happen, and for how long?
Sa ngayon kasi ma'am, no, we have several exercises that we are conducting. So from April to May, nagkakaroon tayo ng balikatan exercises. And ang naging opening natin dito ma'am is a joint between Salaknib and Balikatan.
Salaknib.
Yes ma'am.
Balikatan.
And Balikatan. So ito po, tinitingnan natin, we're envisioning the Balikatan exercises is one of the biggest. So last year was also one of the biggest. No? We have the active participation of French Navy and Australian Navy as well dun sa Balikatan that used to be traditionally US and Philippines. So ganun pa rin siya ma'am, yun pa rin yung core, US and Philippines, but now we see more countries joining in. So Japan nga po, nandyan din siya with the RAA that we signed with them, and of course we have the VFA also with New Zealand and Canada. So nakikita natin nun, talagang
Australia.
lumalawig. Opo, Australia din, ma'am, no? So lumalawig po itong alliances natin with like-minded nations and well-meaning nations. And lahat ng exercises natin, ma'am, to include Balikatan and the multilateral maritime exercises that we're conducting, we're looking at how we would be integrating our capabilities together.
How important are the exercises this coming April to May?
Very important ito, ma'am, because we're going to test parang full battle, ang term nga ni Chief of Staff dyan, ma'am, no? Tinitingnan na natin yung kinetic and non-kinetic side of things.
And what is that? What is kinetic and non-kinetic?
For the kinetic, ma'am, yun yung traditional, no? Yung physical domain na mga armaments natin, equipment natin, and the people, how we deploy them, no? And yung non-kinetic, nandyan po yung ating cyber operations, information operations. So we're gonna do both, kinetic and non-kinetic, and see how we synergize our equipment as well as our personnel together with other like-minded nations.
Sinabi din po ni Secretary Hegseth that America was doubling down its partnership with the Philippines. What exactly does that mean? What does that mean when he said doubling down its partnership?
Ito ma'am, sa policy level din po to pagka din kay Secretary Hegseth, no? But ang ano natin dyan is, ang pinaka-lagi pong iniulit nila is their ironclad commitment to the Philippines. Ang tayo dito naman, ma'am, at the end of the day, we also are looking at how we would be defending ourselves independently. So we'd like to put into perspective that their commitment is to be able to let us, their ironclad commitment is to enable us also to be able to defend ourselves independently.
All right, just a quick question, just a topic that came up recently. There was a confirmation from the Philippine Coast Guard about a Chinese research vessel, Songhang, in PH waters. Do you have any information on this?
We have detected, ma'am, the presence of that, but all the other details po, we leave it po to the Coast Guard as they are the ones for the law enforcement activities in the West Philippine Sea.
Yeah, something we were discussing a while ago, just also to educate us about the AFP. Some may be thinking that there is a law enforcement contingent in the AFP. Please clarify that.
For the Armed Forces of the Philippines, ma'am, we have no mandate to conduct law enforcement activities. So we are not deputized. So for anything that involves investigations or arrests, it's the law enforcement agencies po that are in charge. So it will be either the PNP or the NBI. In the case of our waters po, it's the BFAR and the Philippine Coast Guard. So kung makikita nyo po dyan, for any operation that we conduct, we are in tandem with this law enforcement.
You are assisting. Tama ba?
Yes,
You are
ma'am.
assisting. Ganon. Especially kapag hiningi po ang inyong tulong.
Yes, ma'am. So we do not say no to any request for assistance. So mandate po ng AFP to provide this assistance for law enforcement operations po. Ang pinaka-mandate po ng Armed Forces of the Philippines is national defense. So for the upcoming elections po, we are also assisting the COMELEC
yeah.
for the conduct of fair, orderly, and reliable elections.
AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel, Margareth Padilla. Pleasure to have you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And up next, we'll have Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission spokesperson Winston Casio to talk about the travel advisory issued by the Chinese Embassy in Manila. This is On Point.
Pia Pia Cayetano. Pia 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 Cayetano.
Your newest source of news and information follows you everywhere, every day.
Wow, something to watch.
Medyo surprise.
On cable and free TV.
Good morning, everyone!
Online.
On Trade Talk joining us this morning. Just days to go.
On mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
This is BNC and we are everywhere. Through the insightful discussions and in-depth analysis, we always empowered viewers to better understand the complexities of public affairs. Congratulations, On Point, for winning the Best Public Affairs Program at the 38 PMPC Star Awards for Television. Only here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. Your passion, charisma, and unmatched expertise have made you the go-to voice in sports broadcasting. Congratulations to Anton Rojas of The Scorecard for winning the Best Sports Show host at the 38 PMPC Star Awards for Television. Only here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
Welcome back. You're watching On Point. Malacañang is quick to deny allegations Chinese nationals are targeted by law enforcement agencies, especially those involved in operations against POGOs. The palace says the Department of Foreign Affairs is open to discussions about the reported harassment of Chinese nationals that led to their embassy's issuance of a travel advisory. Let's get on point with PAOCC spokesperson Winston Casio. He joins us via Zoom. Sir Winston, good evening to you and good to see you again. Salamat po sa oras.
Magandang gabi, Pinky, and to all your viewers and possibly listeners and YouTube viewers as well.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I wanted to ask your interpretation of this particular advisory coming from the Chinese embassy to its citizens here in the country, basically with regards to this, I quote, unstable public security here in the Philippines. Ano hong basa nyo dito?
Well, for one, we'd have to deny that there is an unstable public security environment in the Philippines as of now. The law enforcement agencies are basically just fulfilling our mandates, Pinky. Wherever there is sufficient evidence that would warrant a law enforcement operation against a rogue POGO, we would operate against them. It would not matter to us if it is being operated by Chinese, by Filipinos, or by other nationalities. Basta may sapat na ebidensya, we have a legal instrument to do the raid, we would do the raid.
And that is because, number one, POGOs are banned since since
Yes.
December 31, 2024.
I have not seen any law enforcement agency or unit conducting harassment operations. These are all legitimate operations against POGOs. So, incidental lamang yung nationality ng mga nahuhuli natin. We are not targeting a particular nationality or country, Pinky.
Hindi nyo naman ipinipilit na sila ay Chinese nationals kapag nahuhuli po sila.
Opo. We make no discrimination. Because incidental na lamang po yun eh. Pag nakita namin may foreign national, we would ask them anong nationality nila. If they happen to be Koreans, if they happen to be Malaysians or what, or Chinese, it does not matter. Hindi namin ipipilit na Chinese national sila automatically.
And Sir Winston,
And we don't target. Yes.
sa lahat po ng mga raids that have been conducted since the President ordered POGOs to stop, ano ho ba talagang karamihan ng mga nahuhuli?
Incidentally Chinese.
Okay. And that's a fact,
We
sir.
have 600 plus Chinese nationals in detention here in PAOCC. Ang layo nung second group of nationalities, which would be Vietnamese. Nasa less than 120 lamang sila. Then Indonesians, less than 100.
I
So
see.
talaga nagkataon na yung Chinese ang karamihan.
That's why I wanted to ask because of this advisory, because the words used were frequently interrogated and harassed. Those were some of the words that were part of the advisory, if I'm not mistaken. So frequently interrogated, I guess one can assume it's because of the raids on these illegal POGO activities, but there was the word kasi used na harassed, sir. So that becomes a little bit of a different interpretation.
Yes. Rest assured to our friends from the People's Republic of China, all the legal rights of the foreign nationals, of their nationals are being observed and protected by the Philippine government. In fact, it was in the news on the last day, kahapon lamang. The Philippine government spends a lot of money making sure that all foreign nationals, including the Chinese, are treated humanely. Kung may sakit, pinapagamot, pinapakain. In fact, mas maganda pa nga ang kalagayan ng mga foreign nationals na kakulong dito kumpara sa mga Pilipino nakakulong sa mga jails natin. Air-conditioned, with water heater, they're fed 3 times a day, free everything. Wala silang problema kung tutuusin. They're just waiting for deportation.
And let's talk about that, Sir Winston. You gave us a number a while ago. I'm not sure on air or if we were talking prior to going on air. How many of these citizens that were caught in illegal POGO operations are currently being detained in the compound, I assume, of the PAOCC?
We are at 947 as of the moment, Pinky. And more than 600 of those are Chinese nationals. No? So again, incidental lamang po. Rest assured, we are in constant communication with the different police attachés of the nationals that were able to apprehend. We inform them of all the activities that we conduct in relation to their nationals. Wala akong harassment dito. Hindi kami nang bubugbog, hindi kami nananampal, hindi kami nang gugutom, no? Higit pa nga doon sa kanilang minimal na pangangailangan ang ibinibigay ng Philippine government for them.
And isn't it true that there are videos that were discovered by the PAOCC of certain torture, but not coming from definitely the authorities?
Yes, ma'am. We have a good number of torture videos, and those become basis for our subsequent investigation. At nahanap naman namin kung nasaan ang mga ito at ino-operate din po natin.
Maybe, Sir Winston, so that we have a better understanding, 947 right now are currently being detained in the PAOCC compound. Why is it taking some time before these nationals are deported to their respective countries? Could you kindly explain that to us, please?
For one, they need to have a summary deportation order. And the summary deportation order can only be issued by the Bureau of Immigration after the accused foreign nationals have been afforded their rights to a preliminary investigation. Karamihan po sa mga ito, nagre-request po na mag-undergo sila ng preliminary investigation. And that could take time. we cannot summarily deny them the right to be heard. So maliwanag po yun, and that takes time. Second, they need to obtain, the Philippine government needs to obtain a National Bureau of Investigation clearance para masigurado na wala tayong madideport na walang kinakaharap na kaso dito sa Pilipinas. Because before they are deported, they must be able to atone for their criminal liabilities in the Philippines prior to deportation. Doon po nagtatagal. Kami naman po ay nakipagbigay-ugnayan na sa Bureau of Immigration at saka sa Department of Justice at maging sa NBI. Mabilis naman po yung pagtugon. Kaya lang, we have to go through the process, Pinky. Yun lamang po nagpapatagal talaga.
Sir, please explain. So pag nahuli po sila, yun nakikita po natin sa mga video, nahuli po sila, nananatili po sila dun sa building for, I guess, a couple of hours or so. And then from then on, they're loaded to they go inside a bus and then they're taken to PAOCC compound. Ano po? Bakit po, why is there a need for some of them or maybe most of them to have a preliminary, is that right, a preliminary investigation?
Yes, ma'am. Because we charge them for being undesirable aliens in violation of our immigration law. And they're afforded the right to counsel. No. After they're afforded the right to counsel, some of their counsel may give permission to proceed with inquest. Madali na po yun. Within 36 hours, we can do an inquest proceedings. Kaya lang, karamihan, they would waive Article 125 under the revised penal code. Yun po yung Article 125, yung karapatan nila laban doon sa arbitrary detention. Kasi kinakailangan makasuhan mo sila within 36 hours. Other than that, arbitrary detention na po yun. So, wini-waive po nila yun. Once they waive that, they have a 15-day period para naman labanan yung aming asunto for them to be able to provide a counter affidavit kontra sa laysay. Kaya nagtatagal ng konti, Pinky.
Okay.
And then, the Bureau of Immigration has to resolve that. And sometimes it takes a week or two.
Hindi ho ganun kadali because maybe for some it might be as simple as you are caught doing an illegal act in a country that you are not a resident of, hindi ho ba? And dapat po maibalik ka kaagad sa iyong host, iyong pinanggalingan na bansa. But yeah, meron ho kasi talagang, of course, right to due process. And then tama nga po, kailangan malaman, there has to be almost like a certification from the NBI that this particular person has no pending criminal record or issues in the Philippines. Okay, so how long do they normally stay, sir? Diyan po sa compound bago po maibalik sa... Matagal, gaano ho ba katagal?
Ganong kalalim yung aking buntong hininga because some of them have been here for more than a year.
Wow.
Ito po yung may mga kasong kinakaharap. They've been here for more than a year. Yung average po na itinatagal nila 4 na buwan.
Okay. And yung iba ho ay 1 taon dahil meron po silang kinakaharap na ibang kaso. Would that be correct, sir?
Yes, Pinky. You're correct in assuming that.
Okay. Sir, any raids recently? Just an update?
To be honest, none. The
Okay.
reason being, we're full. We're full to the brim.
And any deportations coming soon?
Yes, we've got a deportation upcoming on April 11. As of now, 88 pa lamang yung merong NBI clearance. We're hoping by tomorrow, madagdagan po yan. We're hoping to deport 200 to 300 foreign nationals. But then again, it depends how many NBI clearance we'll be able to get by tomorrow, Pinky.
All right. And while that is happening, as you mentioned a while ago, Sir Winston, while they are there under the custody of the PAOCC, the Philippine government is the one shouldering all the expenses for them.
Yes, ma'am. That is part of our international commitment for being a member of the community of civilized nations.
PAOCC spokesperson Winston Casio, sir, pleasure to have you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Thank you, Pinky. Have a good night.
You too. That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.